You have been asking for it. You have been rooting for it. You have been told that it was coming. But for a moment there, it seemed like all hope was lost. Almost 4 years and countless comments later, finally you have the chance to buy one of the 4 Mi Notebook SKUs that have been launched in India. But are they any good? Let's find out in our review. Before we get this started, please do make sure to hit the subscribe button and also turn on notifications to avoid missing any videos from us in the future. Now let's begin the video. Let's start by talking about one of the best things of the laptop, and that is the build quality. Right off the bat, the Mi Notebook 14 Horizon Edition looks quite similar to a MacBook minus the Apple logo, that is until you open the lid and the big chin, and the 16:9 display makes certain that you know that this is no MacBook. The aluminum unibody design is such a huge departure from the plasticky laptops that look and feel cheap. This doesn't, and maybe that's the biggest reason that one may consider the Mi Notebook over any other laptop in this price range. The outer lid or A plate has no Mi logo or branding of any kind, and this kind of feels odd in my personal opinion. While I'm all in for the concept of not having too much branding on any particular device, I still don't like the fact that it feels a bit too plain and kind of feels incomplete, or like some ODM devices that have just been rebranded. It isn't a rebranded device, of course, but I would have still preferred to have the Mi logo, say, on the outside and then omit it on the inside, for example, and that should have looked much better in my personal opinion. The bezels on the inside surrounding the display are only 3mm in terms of thickness on 3 sides and look very 2020-ish, but we would have liked the space occupied by the chin to also be occupied by the display and perhaps gotten a 16:10 aspect ratio display. The display lid feels very rigid with almost zero flex, and the same goes for the keyboard deck, and only a few laptops have achieved that in our tests. The hinge is very sturdy with no distracting screen wobble even during our long typing tests, and we typed this entire script on the laptop as well in order to support our claims. At Rs 54,999, or rather 60,000 in our particular variant, the Mi Notebook tries to imitate the look and feel of laptops that cost twice as much, and to be honest, it actually succeeds in that. Despite having a rigid chassis, the notebook only weighs 1.35 kilos, and you'd be hard pressed to find a laptop that surpasses the build quality at this price point especially. The Mi Notebook 14 Horizon Edition has a 14-inch 16:9 Full HD 60Hz 8-bit IPS LCD display that's made by CEC Panda. It has a very long and not so interesting model name, which I shall put as text in the video right now. And we have seen panels from the brand used on laptops such as Asus, and the display gets decently bright for indoor use, maxing out at around 250 nits, and the panel is fairly new to the market, and without a display calibration tool, we cannot confirm the specs of the panel. But after a lot of digging, we found that the previous iteration of the panel offered 90% sRGB and 60% Adobe RGB color gamut coverage with a 1100:9 contrast ratio. The official spec sheet shared by Xiaomi reveals that this has a contrast ratio of 1000:1, as well as a screen to body ratio of 91% and a viewing angle of 178 degrees. Comparing it against our color calibrated monitor, we did not notice any major discrepancy in terms of colors or banding. The display also did not show any discernible backlight bleed or uniformity issue. Viewing angles were solid as expected from an IPS panel, but there does seem to be some brightness fall off, especially at certain angles. While the display is extremely sharp and has good color overall, we would have loved to see a brighter panel on this. Even with what we would consider a good anti-glare implementation with finely textured glass, the display is only just usable outdoors but kind of unusable under direct sunlight. Especially on portable laptops such as these, we would have loved to have panels that can achieve at least 400 nits in terms of brightness. Also, considering the fact that smartphones even around 20,000 rupees have great displays, is it too much to expect the same from a new expensive laptop? Our Mi Notebook came with an Intel i7-10510U 4-core, 8-thread CPU, 8GB of DDR4 dual-channel configuration memory at 2666 MHz, 512GB of Samsung PM981 NVMe SSD, and NVIDIA GeForce MX350 graphics. Performance is what we would recognize as fine for 2020 standards. The i7 CPU promises 4.9 GHz single core and 4.3 GHz all-core turbo, but during our test we noticed a maximum of 4.7 GHz boost with around 4.5 GHz sustained clock during single core stress test and 3.8 GHz peak and 3.2 GHz sustained clock speeds during our all-core stress test. We ran the Cinebench R20 single core and multi-core test and it scored a very respectable 465 points on the single core test, but the multi-score result of 1668 wasn't anything to write home about, especially when Ryzen 5 based laptops have started showing up, which leaves this particular variant of the i7 in the dust. What makes things worse is that we noticed that the CPU temperature hit 92 degrees Celsius while the multi-core test was running. Now just to clarify, this is not a Xiaomi problem, it's just an Intel problem and they've been stuck on the 14nm manufacturing process with no real IPC gains since the Skylake, that is 6th gen days. We also ran a Blender Ryzen logo render test at 150 samples preset and it took the laptop 51 seconds to render, which is 20% faster than the Asus ZenBook 14 with the i7-8565U that we tested last year. We also ran Geekbench 4 and 5 tests for the Geekbench fans amongst us and it managed to outpace most laptops in the single-threaded scores, while the multi-threaded performance left more to be desired. Coming to the MX350 GPU on board, in our test it did as good as you would expect from an entry-level discrete graphics solution. While it has the same CUDA cores as the last gen GTX 1050 and clock speeds hover around the same range, the 64-bit wide memory bus and 2GB of VRAM quickly becomes a bottleneck, as you'd see in our 3D Mark Firestrike DirectX 11 and TimeSpy DirectX 12 graphic charts. It managed to outpace the MX150 but falls a good bit short of the GTX 1050. This card is not meant for any graphic intensive workload, and if you wish to do graphic intensive work such as gaming, video editing or CAD design, the GTX 1650 will be our minimum recommendation for a smooth experience. We did not want to delve much into gaming given our initial impressions with the MX350 GPU and the Shadow of the Tomb Raider benchmark, but if you wish to know more about the laptop's gaming capabilities, please do comment below and we'll try to make that happen. The SSD is downright impressive and this is on par with Samsung's 980 EVO. This is almost the best performance you can find on a pre-installed SSD. While the SSD is the top of the line, the keyboard is not so much. Don't get us wrong, it's not a bad keyboard, but some of the issues with the keyboard can be improved to make it much better. The travel on the keys feels short and the feedback is somewhat missing. When it comes to keyboards on Ultrabooks, we are spoiled by the ones found on the Asus ZenBooks, which kept us expecting more. The lack of a backlight is a major issue and might be a deal breaker for the Night Owl and Dark Knights amongst us. The delete key is actually too close to the power key, which is actually something we use a lot, especially when editing, and can be triggered accidentally if you aren't careful, at least until you get used to the layout. Keep in mind that while it's not one of the best keyboards, the keys feel much better than what you will find on the MacBooks from 2016 to 2019 for example, but not as good as some of the options that we have available on the Windows side of things. One of the aspects that most brands fail to imitate a MacBook is the spacious trackpad with the smooth glass surface. Same goes for a trackpad on the Mi notebook, and while the tracking itself is fine thanks to Windows Precision drivers, the trackpad itself isn't spacious enough for comfortable use, especially if you have big hands. For comparison, the trackpad on the MacBook Pro 13 is approximately 6.25 inches diagonally, while the Mi notebook's trackpad is around 4.8 inches, but the aspect ratios are vastly different, with the MacBook Pro being broader. The laptop has two USB 3.1 Gen 1 ports on the right side along with an HDMI 1.4 port, USB 3.1 Gen 1 Type-C port and your charging port, as well as an LED indicator. On the left you get one USB Type-A 2.0 port and a 3.5mm combo jack. The HDMI 1.4 port, due to its inherent limitations, can only do 4K 30Hz out, and you're stuck with that considering that the USB-C port does not support charging or display out. We tested it with the Dell P2419HC, which supports up to 65 watt of power out for charging via Type-C, but the Mi notebook failed to detect a power source via its Type-C port and obviously no display output as well. Speaking of power output, Xiaomi bundles the laptop with a 65 watt fast charging power adapter that charges the laptop to around 50% in just 30 minutes, and in our test the 46 watt hour battery lasted for around 6 hours of video playback at max brightness, 5.5 hours of web browsing with YouTube playing on a separate window, and it should get you through a day of lectures on a full charge but not a full 8-hour workday. Once you buy one of the Mi notebook configurations, you're pretty much limited to what you buy. There's not much room for upgrade down the line, and apart from the M.2 SSD, you can only upgrade the Wi-Fi card, and you may want to do that since the Qualcomm QC-A6174 Wi-Fi card onboard doesn't support the recent Wi-Fi 6 or 6E standards. The RAM is soldered on board, which is a disappointment because Xiaomi doesn't offer an SKU with 16GB of RAM. And while for most people 8GB RAM should be enough, if you wish to do anything more than general office or multimedia work, you will run out of memory fairly easily and the system starts dumping data on the page file, making the process longer to complete. We noticed this behavior during our 4K render where we noticed the system spike up to 7GB of RAM use instantly with upwards of 20% page file use. The Mi Notebook 14 Horizon Edition comes with Windows 10 Home out of the box and it boots up in less than 10 seconds. And let me just clarify, there are no ads on this laptop, and even the amount of apps that are pre-installed apart from the Windows specific apps are very minimal. You basically get an app to enable Mi Smart Share, one to enable Mi Blaze Unlock, which essentially helps you unlock your device without entering a password if you happen to have a Mi Band 3 or 4, and lastly a Mi Support app as well. Now, what you may or may not have noticed earlier is the fact that when we talked about the bezels around the display, we didn't mention anything about a webcam, and that's because there isn't one. When Xiaomi started developing this laptop back in 2018 or even in 2020 before the entire COVID-19 situation got out of hand, people didn't use webcams all that much. I personally didn't use webcam in over 3-4 years on a laptop or my desktop, and I didn't have one on my desktop, and on my laptop I barely even used it. If I wanted to do video conferencing, I usually just use my smartphone, and this remained true for most of the people across the globe. So I'm with Xiaomi here in the fact that they didn't need to put a webcam on this, considering that it would make no sense to unnecessarily increase the cost for 95% of the users for a feature that was used by less than 5% of the users. But since a lot of changes have happened in the past couple of months, they did have to include a webcam, and they've done so by bundling a USB Type-A webcam in the box. Now this is manufactured by Xiaomi themselves and is a very generic design. It kind of looks alright with the laptop itself, but doesn't look all that great as a standalone product. It is an HD web camera that has 720p resolution, and we even tried it on our desktop and other laptops, and as long as it has a USB Type-A port, it supports plug and play. Quality is decent but not great, and there definitely is visible noise, but at least it will get the job done. Regardless of which variant of the Mi Notebook 14 you're going for, you will still get the webcam in the box. There's no Windows Hello support or even a fingerprint scanner, which actually isn't acceptable since we have seen laptops that cost 60% of the price sporting fingerprint scanner. The speakers are located at the bottom on either side, and it's actually quite feeble in terms of the volume output, and the output peaked at 95 decibels, which is noticeably lower than most other smartphones that we have conducted in our tests so far. I'd have definitely expected a much louder output from a laptop like this. The speakers sound hollow, tinny, and lack any deep end at all. We also notice some distortion at full volume with the DTS audio settings set to movie, and if you disable the DTS audio settings, it brings down the distortion but also pushes the volume down further. You also get two microphones at the bottom that are located beneath the opening cutout, and here are two audio clips comparing the sound from a Blue Yeti that I use for my voiceovers as well as the sound from the Mi laptop itself. Hey guys, it's Sandeep from Drive Wireless, and this is the audio test from the Blue Yeti microphone. Hey guys, it's Sandeep from Drive Wireless, and this is the sound check using the internal mic on the Mi Notebook Horizon Edition. Now, one thing that we really tested out on this laptop was video editing at 4K resolution. We were able to seamlessly scrub through the timeline and play back at 1/4 the quality, and scrubbing through the timeline at half the quality was also fine, but playback did start becoming choppy after a bit. The built-in HDMI port was able to output to an external 4K display as well and still maintain the feed on the laptop monitor itself without having any issues. We even tried editing directly from the monitor itself by connecting an external keyboard and mouse, and you would especially need an external mouse considering the fact that the touchpad is not all that intuitive and is not great for video editing purposes especially. While the timeline itself is fine, what did take a lot of time was the rendering, especially when we were using Warp Stabilizer and also the export. A 15-minute 4K 30 FPS 50 meg bitrate video took 40 minutes to export, which is at least 4 to 6 times slower than my PC, but of course my PC is much more powerful. But the issue is that the CPU and RAM are the main bottlenecks, and hence 4K editing is not really ideal on this device. 1080p editing did better, but even then the export time was a bit longer than we expected. During this time we also tested out the volume of fans as well as the overall heat on the body that's made of metal. The ambient room temperature was 23 degrees Celsius and the peak temperature of 45.5 degrees was recorded between the I and O keys on the keyboard, as well as the vents that come out between the display and the chassis itself. That was still usable and not too hot to the touch, but still worth mentioning. The fans idle at around 41 decibels and 52 decibels at max flow, but that's still pretty good considering the amount of effort that the laptop has to put through in order to process the video. Xiaomi says that the overall footprint of the laptop is actually quite compact and comparable to an A4 sheet of paper, and we tested this by actually comparing it with one. In terms of the length, it's actually a bit wider considering the aspect ratio of 16:9, but it's actually a bit narrower in terms of the width compared to the A4 sheet of paper. We even tested this against an HP Elite G3 notebook, which also had the same width, which has a 16:10 13.3 inch screen. Here's how the Mi Notebook 14 Horizon Edition stacks up to other laptops in terms of its footprint. One of the things that we need to talk about the design that goes hand in hand with the lack of a display wobble that we spoke earlier is the fact that its weight distribution is really well done. In fact, you can actually lift the lid up with just one single finger. It may slide a bit if you try to open it that fast considering you lift the laptop just a bit, but even then it doesn't tip over, and the rubber pads also do a good job of keeping it in place. One question that I saw in the comment section when I posted the unboxing and first impressions was just how reliable this laptop is gonna be in the long run. And the commenter expressed specific worry in relation to how much you're getting for the amount that you pay. Well, honestly, that was a point of concern even when Xiaomi launched their smartphones in India first, but now the Redmi series device, for example, they provide great value for money at a very attractive price point and are the leaders in that particular segment. So I see these laptops as being the same, but for the PC division. And just in case things go wrong, you always have Xiaomi's wide network, which is India's largest service network to cater to your needs in terms of assisting you with warranty or in terms of getting things fixed out of warranty, regardless of where you are, be it a metropolitan city, a village or a small town. If there is any service center there are chances that they do support Xiaomi devices as well. In conclusion, we really applaud Xiaomi for a solid first attempt with great build quality, a good design, good battery life, a good screen, and overall good value for money. But the question remains, who is this laptop for? And to that, our answer would be, if you're a working professional looking for a decent laptop for day-to-day spreadsheet work with casual multimedia consumption, this laptop may be for you. It may also be suitable for school and college going students who don't need performance intensive applications or gaming, but if you're looking for any of those, we'd suggest checking out the Ryzen 4000 series CPUs along with GTX or RTX graphics. That's it for this video, guys. If you have any questions, do let us know in the comment section below. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button. See you again in the next one.